So on Saturday the 15th of December, Southport hosted Solihull Moors in the FA Trophy first round. Now, this game was to be one that was pretty interesting in terms of team selections for both teams, particularly Southport. We're going to be looking at that in this video. Basically, to give you a bit of context, a couple of weeks before, both teams played in the FA Cup second round. Southport played away at Tranmere and got a 2-2 draw, and Solihull played at home to Blackpool and got a 0-0 draw. So both games went to replays. Now, both of them were going to be played in the midweek following this FA Trophy match. There were huge games awaiting both teams if they were to win their FA Cup replay. Southport, if they were to win their replay, they would play Tottenham at home, and if Solihull Moors would win their replay, they would host Arsenal. So these two games potentially are absolutely life-changing for these two football clubs, could net them 6 figures, maybe even 7 figures in revenue from prize money, from ticket sales, from TV money potentially. And with Southport's replay taking place on the Monday night and Solihull's taking place on the Tuesday, only 48 hours separated the FA Trophy match on the Saturday with the FA Cup replay on the Monday for Southport. And with such a small amount of time and such a small squad, they didn't have a huge squad, they didn't want to risk playing loads of players in an FA Trophy match that really they prioritised so much less than the FA Cup match. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. I use that app to stay up to date with these FA Cup replay matches, huge matches, and OneFootball gives you some nice in-depth stats as well as the lineup, as well as what's going on during the matches on the feed. So if you want to download that, link to that app is in the top line of the description. Heading into this match, Southport were actually 10 matches unbeaten, but they decided to make 11 changes from the team that drew 2-2 away at Bradford Park Avenue 7 days prior. They made 9 new signings just for this one-off game. In the few days before this game, manager Liam Watson went around and got in 9 unattached local players just to come in and play this one game. Now, it's something that I've never seen done before to this level. It's quite crazy. I feel sorry for their secretary having to get all the paperwork done, knowing that these players would only ever play one game for the football club. Also, Liam Watson only ever had them for one training session during the week. So they had one session to gel and hopefully try and put together some sort of performance. Some of these players that were signed were a journeyman, the likes of Paul Ennis, a 28-year-old who's already had 20 clubs. Pretty much he's been around the entirety of the Northwest in England in non-league. Another one, and the most interesting one for me, is Alex Russell Jr. His dad is a club legend at Southport and was in the stands to watch his son play for the first time for Southport. Now, his dad made over 400 appearances for the club, and his son done something quite unique. He's actually been assistant manager at Southport before making his debut. Yes, that's right, he's a 45-year-old central midfielder that retired 6 years ago. In 2015, he was appointed assistant manager of the Port, and probably the first time I've ever seen someone be an assistant manager and then 3 years later make his debut for the club in a competitive game. It's crazy. But yeah, of these 9 players that were brought in, 7 of them started the game and 2 of them came off the bench. The rest of the start 11 was pretty much made up of players that have been on the fringe and made very few appearances this season so far. Also on the bench alongside these 2 new signings were some players that have played a lot of games for Southport this season, the likes of Devon Green, Jordan Archer. But these 2, despite Solihull taking the lead after 53 minutes, they were never brought on. They were never going to be brought on because Southport didn't even want the replay. Neither team really wanted the replay. Neither team really wanted this game to happen. With such a big game happening a few days afterwards for both teams, they're both in that situation where the FA Trophy to them doesn't really seem that significant at the time. But these players are essentially playing for themselves. It was a chance for them to play at this level for a one-off game. A lot of them hadn't played at this level for quite a while, or are regularly playing a lot lower down. So they jumped at the chance to go and sign for Southport for one game, try and prove themselves, playing against National League opposition. Solihull as well, they made a few changes, not to the extent that Southport did, but maybe Southport made too many changes. Maybe they could have played some of their young players. Now, their under-21 setup actually closed down a couple of months ago, but their under-17s, under-18s is actually still going, so maybe some of them could have been playing. There was actually none of them playing in this game, so potentially it would have been a nice opportunity for some of these players to get first team men's experience, make their Southport debut, but they decided against that. The other way that you could look at this is it just being totally disrespectful to the FA Trophy? Now, you could see their argument of resting everyone, saving their best players for a massive, massive game in the FA Cup. But in the FA Trophy, it's an opportunity to get to Wembley. It's an opportunity to potentially get a lot of money from that competition. One thing that I found particularly interesting is that on the Southport website, their match report even says that with both sides standing 90 minutes away from lucrative games against North London powerhouses in the Emirates FA Cup, the outcome of this tie always felt incidental. But yeah, overall, Solihull won the game 1-0. They go through to the next round. They play against Halifax Town in the next round. Southport, their master plan to try and save all their players for their replay against Tranmere. Tranmere actually won that game 2-0. But regardless, it's a great FA Cup run for Southport. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this situation in the comment section down below. Do you think that Southport should have made this many signings? Do you think they should be allowed to make 11 changes to the starting lineup? There's regulations in some other cup competitions in higher leagues which limits the amount of changes that you are allowed to make to your team when moving from a league match to a cup match. Do you think that should have been brought in for this game? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button and click subscribe as well. I hope you see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.